There is a question at the heart of American foreign policy that almost nobody in Washington is willing to ask out loud. And in the Israel lobby and U.S. foreign policy, John Mearsheimer and Stephen Walt ask it directly. Why does the United States give one small country more support than it gives anyone else on Earth, year after year, regardless of that country's conduct or America's own interests? Their answer is blunt. It is not strategic necessity, and it is not moral obligation. It is domestic politics, specifically the sustained work of a loose but effective coalition of groups and individuals who have made unconditional support for Israel the default setting of American policy, and made questioning that support nearly career-ending. The authors build the case carefully because they know the charge against them before they make it. They begin with the sheer scale of the relationship. The United States has given Israel more total aid than any other nation since World War II, extends diplomatic cover at the United Nations again and again, and provides this backing largely without the conditions normally attached to such support. That is the fact to be explained. If the relationship were a straightforward strategic bargain, the explanation would be easy. But the authors argue the strategic case has collapsed. Whatever value Israel offered as a Cold War asset against Soviet clients evaporated when the Soviet Union did, and in the age of terrorism and regional instability, unconditional backing arguably costs the United States more than it gains, inflaming opinion across the Arab and Muslim world and complicating nearly every other relationship in the region. So they turn to the moral argument, the idea that America supports Israel because it is a fellow democracy, a vulnerable nation, the morally deserving party. Here they are at their most provocative, examining the historical record of the founding and the ongoing treatment of the Palestinians, and concluding that the moral case, while real, does not come close to justifying support this large and this unconditional. Both pillars, strategic and moral, they find too weak to bear the weight placed on them. Something else must be holding the policy up. That something is what they call the lobby. Not a secret cabal, not a conspiracy, and emphatically not a synonym for Jewish Americans, many of whom they note disagree with these policies entirely. It is an open, ordinary interest group, operating exactly as the gun lobby or the farm lobby operates. Through campaign contributions, through cultivating politicians, through think tanks and media pressure, through guiding the policy process from the inside and shaping public discourse from the outside so that certain criticisms become unsayable. The second half of the book traces this influence through case after case. The handling of the Palestinians, the road to the Iraq War, the pressure applied towards Syria and Iran, the response to the 2006 Lebanon War. In each, they argue, policy bent away from the American national interest and toward an agenda the lobby promoted. The honest place to register a complication is the mechanism itself. Establishing that a lobby is powerful and well organized is one thing. Proving it is the decisive cause of specific decisions, rather than one strong current among many, oil, ideology, domestic electoral math, genuine strategic conviction, is harder, and critics have pressed exactly there. The authors are more persuasive on the existence and energy of the lobby than on its precise causal weight in any single outcome. But the deeper achievement of the book survives that objection intact, because their central claim was never really about one country. It was about whether an organized faction can capture a nation's foreign policy and steer it away from the common good while making the capture nearly impossible to discuss. And that is what makes this book matter to you, wherever you sit and whatever you think about the Middle East. A foreign policy that cannot be openly debated is not a policy a free people actually controls. When the most consequential decisions a nation makes, who it funds, who it fights, whose wars it joins, are shielded from honest scrutiny by the fear of being smeared for raising the question, the damage is not only to the prudence of the policy, but to the integrity of self-government itself. The nation's interest, soberly weighed, is supposed to guide its commitments abroad. When that judgment is quietly outsourced to a faction with its own ends, a republic has surrendered something essential, and the entanglements that follow tend to be the very wars and adventures that drain a people and corrupt their leaders. The one takeaway, a great power that cannot calmly debate who its real friends are and what it actually owes them, has already lost control of its own foreign policy. Read the full book. Even where you resist its conclusions, it will force you to defend your own with better arguments than you had before.